What's up, wrestling fans? We are back again, but this time we got a new name. Discuss TNA IMPACT Wrestling. Got a little new graphic up there, thanks to the Horror King, who is very excited this week because tomorrow is actually Halloween, and then he has a birthday coming up, and his goddamn Eagles won again, which is just becoming like a copy and paste I should put in here. We have some awesome news for Impact fans, as two wrestlers were signed. Two new wrestlers. I mean, can't remember the last time they signed two new wrestlers in a week. From the UK, we'll get into that in a second. Brian Last destroyed Scott D'Amore on the latest Jim Cornette podcast. Going to play a little clip of that. There's a chance Hall of Famer Mike Tenay is returning. Holy, whatever. That's awesome.
Yeah, amazing.
And
I hope that's.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said I hope that's the case. It did kind of look like he, maybe if he's not full time, he'd consider at least part time.
Yeah, that's the pretty biggest news right now. I mean, who doesn't love Mike Tenay? And how perfect would it be for him to go back to TNA? You know what I mean? When they start in January. I'm also curious. Quick question out there: is anyone just kind of waiting around for January like I am? I feel like this is, I don't know, whatever the word is, but I'm just waiting for TNA. I feel like once they announced that, they should have kind of just maybe waited or just went right to it, because like now they're like posting everything on their Impact Wrestling. Like this person signed with Impact Wrestling, and it's like, wait, shouldn't it be TNA? But whatever.
Well, it definitely is overshadowing everything till the end of the year.
Yeah, totally.
Matter to have like IPWF, we've got Final Resolution in December, and Turning Point here by the end of the week, and it kind of overshadowed.
Yeah, I thought you were wrong. I mean, we're doing a Turning Point preview. But, I mean, it's going to be kind of spoilerish or all spoilerish. I honestly don't know because we're recording this on Monday, the 30th, and Turning Point is on Friday. So, like, there's going to be no time for anyone to do a preview on Thursday. So, whatever. We're going to talk about that after, and we'll give a little, heads up for people who don't like spoilers. Also, some more quick news I didn't tell Gary about. Ronda Rousey has been doing indie shows. The latest was for Wrestling Revolver. So, she just retired from WWE. Which is super interesting. I mean, Ronda Rousey is out there, and I definitely don't think she wants to go to AEW because it's similar to WWE, and it seems like she doesn't like getting abused or, like just getting booed. Like she just wants to pop around places where she's loved, and that's exactly what she's doing right now.
Well, and plus, too, I have a feeling like with AEW being the competitor, does she want to
say risk that? No, I think it would be too similar. I think it would be way too similar. I don't even think she would think about it. I think she would be like, nope, it's a big company. I'm going to get bullshit again. Fuck that. But again, that's just my guess on. That's my guess on why she's doing it. Hammerstone asked for his release from MLW, and I had a little note here. Impact doesn't have that happening, so that's good. We haven't heard of anyone asking for their releases, and MLW said, "Fuck you, MLW, Josh. You're not going anywhere." I mean, come on. Does anyone else not see that him and Josh are separated at birth, and they both have had the same pushes and whatever?
Well, I heard if he were to have left MLW, I heard WWE's passed on him several times because of his due to his like drug violations in terms of the HGH stuff that he's been known to kind of surrounded himself around. But somebody made a point that, I mean, what wrestler anymore doesn't do HGH anymore? So I mean, it is what it is, but WWE does implement that policy, so unlikely he'd go up there anytime soon.
Okay, so Heath Slater is no longer signed with Impact, and I gotta say that's probably a good thing. He makes a lot of money, I'm guessing. He's making not WWE money, but he's a WWE guy. So I'm sure they're making a shitload more than whatever 19-year-old Leon Slater is making, who just signed, along with Harley Hudson, who I'm not sure if it's like a signing because they signed her to go to the dojo. So I'm not really sure.
I think Leon Slater's deal was a multi-year deal, whereas
19-year-old
Harley Hudson.
Really quick. The Wrestling Observer called him one of the United Kingdom's top up-and-coming wrestlers.
Sounds very much like we might have landed another diamond in the rough, like a Speedball with Leon
And they
Slater.
got him long-term, which is like, I mean, we've been saying how long we've been saying that shit. Like, just fucking take some chances, sign some guys that can't leave or whatever. And
I wonder if you brought in Jay to kind of fill that void of Leo Rush. That's what I kind of feel like.
I mean, I haven't seen enough of him yet. I mean, I've read great things about him, and I could not find out how old Harley Hudson is. I guess she's just hiding her age from the internet, which is totally cool. I'm guessing younger 20s. I don't know, just going by her look, but no idea.
Yeah, I would say probably.
And I shouldn't be. And shut up, Gary. We shouldn't be guessing women's ages.
I should be guessing.
I just saved you.
I guess I shouldn't be guessing anybody's age when I turn 53 this Friday.
Oh, old bastard. Okay, so here is. Well, let me just set it up quickly. I don't know. For people who haven't been listening, I've been giving Scott shit for a long time because I just think he, and not just me, a lot of people have talked about how his booking and creative kind of went to shit when he became president. And that's totally understandable. Maybe he needs to give up some power, kind of like Tony Khan needs to, you know? Like Tony does all the shit himself, and hey, listen, obviously AEW is doing a better job, but whatever. Like, I just don't think he should be in creative. I don't even know for a fact if he was in creative. But Brian Last, from the official Jim Cornette podcast, which I believe is the #1 wrestling podcast in the wrestling universe, had something to say about the whole. Well, they did a 20-minute thing on TNA. Everyone should check that out. It's really good. Mostly bashing the shit out of them. Last was talking about how they never had leadership ever in the history of their company. You know, like kind of, talking about Dixie, Jarrett, whatever, and now. So let me just play this little snippet.
Bad segments, bad creative, and it comes from the top. You need good people at the top. Who's going to be the person that's going to try to tell me that Scott D'Amore knows what he's doing as a creative person? He doesn't. And no one else there does either that's been in a position to make any change. So you can change your name to whatever you want. At the end of the day, it's now being rebranded after something Vince Russo admitted was tits and ass wrestling.
And he goes on, but I mean, I just wanted to point it out because I get shit all the time from people, like everywhere, like, why are you always giving Scott shit? And I'm like, Jesus, I'm a fan. Like, I've been a fan for how long? I hate to keep bringing up my Impact on Twitch, but like, I was such a nerd. I had a goddamn account that I was posting everything, updating Impact fans daily. Like, I didn't just become a hater one day. I just don't think he's good. And this is fucking Brian Last again, one of the top podcasters, saying probably even worse things than I said, because I don't even know if he was in creative, to be honest with you. I mean, I know he probably oversaw everything, but whatever. Well, you have any thoughts on that? Quick.
Really quick, yeah. It just pains me that I have such kind of a tie to Scott D'Amore early on in TNA because I loved him as Coach D'Amore, and like I just wish he could be on the creative and be as brilliant as he was.
Can he still be like the coach? You know what I mean? Just not being creative.
Oh yeah.
Like, book his obviously book his own shit. Yeah. Like, here's what I'm doing this week. Maybe help me out with creative a little. This is I'm gonna be. I mean it's set up perfectly for him to join with Josh and EY, who have a match at the tapings that we'll get to in the UK tapings. I mean, again, I don't want to talk about these things and not talk about these things. It's like we have no time in between, and there was no shows, and they just jumped from they're literally jumping from Bound for Glory to a Bound for Glory. What was it, like a highlight show last week?
Oh yeah, well, I was very disappointed with that, knowing that, because that was okay. Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was good. Your typical show, like of old, like the typically weekly show with no recaps, and I was just like, wow, I just felt like I watched this, like it just. I hate it. It's kind of like when they used to do like the secondary show. They just more or less recap everything, and it just was really, it just you've been there, done that. It doesn't feel fresh.
Okay, well, here is breaking news. Impact announced today tickets for 3 exciting live pro wrestling events will be available on November 3rd and 4th. Don't miss out on your chance to witness the last Impact Wrestling show and the first 2 shows of the new era of TNA Wrestling. This is Final Resolution, December 9th. No, then there's Hard to Kill, January 13th. Matches for final resolution will be announced in the coming weeks. Really? Coming weeks? It's this week. It's Friday, isn't it?
Oh, what? Final resolution?
Yeah.
No, that's in December.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. What the hell are we talking about here then?
Yeah, this Friday is turning point, and that's from Newcastle. I believe it's. What did I?
Not a big fan of those names back to back. Turning Point and Final Resolution.
Apparently, it's semi live from the Walker Dome in Newcastle, I believe. Jay.
Okay, and Hard to Kill is live around the world from Vegas. So the first tapings will be in Vegas. I think we knew that, but whatever. Then it says, they're gonna. Let's see, they got some names mentioned: Shelly, Sabin, Trinity, Josh, Eddie Myers, Moose, Jordan, and Giselle. Also, happy birthday to Giselle. It's today. Gary didn't know that, and I did, so boom. Great job on me. And I think that's all the news. And now we're going to get into the spoiler section. So get the hell out of here if you don't. Also, in case you want to read it, PW Mania has the story about Mike Tenay, or the interview. So check that out, and seriously, check out that Cornette thing. I mean, if you don't like Cornette, like, these dudes are smart, and they talked 30 minutes about the return of TNA wrestling. It was like, it wasn't all bashing, but whatever. Check it out. And there's a weird smell in my apartment right now. So Gary, how about you get started on what do we got? TNA Turning Point.
I won't start off with the probably likely what isn't the main event. I'll start off with
first off. I'm sorry. Before we get into the spoiler stuff, did they announce matches for this week's Impact? I couldn't find that anywhere either.
If they did, they were very, very brief, and I don't know if they mentioned them the week before. Kind of like, because like,
I think they mentioned the Lucha match.
Oh, okay. Maybe they had, and I don't know if that was a social media thing, and like I'm not really big on So.
And to be honest with everyone out there, if you haven't clicked off yet, like, there's no really, like, they don't have time to there was no time to have stories for these matches. Like, maybe there was literally 1 week of television. So, like, we're not doing like who beat who. We're just doing the card. So we're just, we're talking about the matches, we're not going to spoil them. I'm not going to spoil who won the matches.
No, I totally, this tells you I didn't even bother with the spoilers, because the match I'm going to mention first is a team up of Grado and Rhino, and they face, I have no idea.
Are you trying to lose viewers right now? Jesus, Gary, come on. Oh, you were right. We were talking before the podcast about Alex Windsor, and I couldn't find her anywhere, but yes, she wrestled. She is wrestling at Turning Point against Giselle Shaw. So that is one match. Grado and Rhino, yep. There is a match where it says versus 2 question marks. So I don't think that's a spoiler, other than Grado and Rhino are teaming up, which, I don't know, I guess that could be fun. That could be a fun pre-show thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of the Grado entrance, and like, it was louder than hell. So
really?
It should be pretty. Yeah, it should be pretty fun TV. For the viewer, especially on an Impact Plus event.
Definitely. And then there was a singles match for the North Championship, which you mentioned, which Leon Slater is the champion of, or he was. I don't know. He's probably going to have to drop it and head overseas. I don't know how that's going to work.
And I believe Mark.
Good. He took on Mark Haskins, who I think we've seen before.
Yeah, right? I believe he's quite well known. Mark Haskins. I could have swore he was. Was he in WWE at some point? Maybe NXT.
I believe he was. As I walk around my apartment checking for a gas leak. Okay, so
or a cadaver.
I mean, he was definitely somewhere. I think he was actually in Ring of Honor also. Could be wrong. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, he might have been, Jay. I can't remember. He kind of goes under the radar for me, but that name just kind of stands out to me like I've seen it somewhere before.
Okay, then we get Rich Swann versus Trey Miguel. Kind of a, I don't know, out of nowhere match.
Well, speaking of this match, going into this event, it was supposed to be a 3-way dance with Rich Swann, Trey Miguel and Frankie Kazarian, but due to injury of Alex Shelley, they pulled him from this event entirely, and it ended up being a one-on-one match.
Any idea why they have 3 tag matches and no title matches? Like, why is Trey Miguel in a... Trey's champ right now. Wait, is Trey champ or is it Bullet Club?
Oh, no, the Bullet Club. They won Bound for Glory.
Okay, so Bullet Club wasn't at this. Is not at.
But Zach,
Turning
it said
Point.
Zach Wentz happened to be...
Yeah, Wentz is with Miguel. Yeah, so I'm just wondering why there was no tag team match, but I guess they just didn't make the trip. Maybe they're in Japan or something. Who knows? So, another interesting match. Subculture, who just kills it every goddamn time they're on Impact and TNA, whatever. They're facing Eric Young and Josh Alexander, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, this is an awesome pairing of these two. Be interesting to see where they go from here with those two. Maybe we see a Josh Alexander heel turn, which would be really cool.
I mean, well, what is EY? That's one thing that confuses me and annoys me. I don't know what EY is, and that's annoying. I love EY.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorite wrestlers characters ever. He's like, hysterical, he's scary, but now he comes out in a mask, but he looks like a face when he's in there.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Like going into your comment about EY, what is he? When I see him in his current state, I would go 60% face, maybe 40% heel.
Because I mean, I don't know. I feel like he did something like standing up for like Impact or TNA recently. Whatever, but like, yeah, maybe lose the scary mask, dude. Just go back to fun ass EY. Like everyone fucking loves that.
That's a little bit higher up the scale.
Like, he doesn't have to be not goofy idiot EY. You know what I mean? Like the EY he was at the end, like the Daniel fucking Bryan EY, where he can beat anyone, but he's also fucking funny still. He had it perfect at the end of the night. I don't know. I just hate when these guys do this. Like kind of like EC3, like they just don't go back to their characters that.
If you look like back at
Broken Matt Hardy, like their peak characters that they don't go back to, it just annoys me. But whatever.
Well, you look back to the videotape or whatever on YouTube or however you can get your hands on it. If you go back and watch that, I mean, did he ever get as huge a pop as he did in that Daniel Bryan 2.0 when he won the title?
Oh no, that thing was fucking. That was crazy.
You know what I mean? Like that.
He was so over. People don't even remember. And yeah, I mean the fact that
people
were. Funny.
I remember.
It's funny because thinking back, like he was getting shit for being like Daniel Bryan, but the fact that they even compared him to Daniel fucking Bryan was awesome. Thinking back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and if I remember right, our ratings were the demos were way up. And I think for a little while we were popping a rating with an EY as champion, if I remember right.
Can't be worse than these days. Can't be worse than the old .1 they've been laying around.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just looking at their Twitter. I wonder if they're gonna have to start a new. You're gonna have to start a new Twitter or social media. You know what I mean? Well, like, can you just change? Can you change all of your names? I don't know if that's a thing. TNA Impact Wrestling, whatever. That's on them. Jordan Grace versus Danny Luna. Danny, we've seen many times. She's part of Subculture. Very good wrestler. That should be a good one.
What a dream match here of the Battle of the Power Girls.
Yeah, so they got Alex Windsor, Danny Luna, and we mentioned the girl they signed.
And the thing is, the more I look at this card, it's actually pretty stacked. I mean, despite maybe not being booked in terms of like maybe like you said, you felt they had a lot of tag matches. Is that what you said?
Well, no, I was just there's only 3, but I thought there should be I was just wondering what a tag champs were. Also, no gimmick matches.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Not cool, but maybe they're saving them for TNA when they start, and they just have like 15 gimmick matches on the show. I mean, I'm sorry, you got to start the first Impact with the reverse battle royal. Let me just throw that out there. What do you think? Yeah. Well, how would you start it? Would you start it with like a promo? I think I would just start it with some wacky ass match like they used to do. King of the Mountain. You know what I mean?
For turning point.
Sorry, I jumped up to the first episode of TNA.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you're referring. How would I kick this? How would I kick this?
How would you kick off TNA?
I would actually start it all off with a really hype video kind of like they did at Hammerstein Ballroom back in the day with Bobby Roode.
Let me jump in with Mike Tenay running down, giving high fives to everyone, and the crowd going insane. That would be so fucking perfect.
I would definitely go balls out to open the.
That's what I mean. Would you do a segment, or would you do an old TNA match?
I think I'd do a segment because segments were kind of always would set up the action later on. What direction I'd go with it, it just depends on the pieces come January.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we gonna have the same talent. You know,
it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I'd love to see them bring back a bunch of TNA guys. I mean, I think that would be so fucking cool. I did have the idea of. Sorry, we'll get back to Turning Point in a second, but I did have the idea of old TNA guys versus like young guys, but then I realized that was how WCW basically died. Well, among zillions of other reasons, but that's the Billionaires Club versus the Young Blood. But I mean, maybe they could do it better. I don't know. Like, you remember that? It was like the old guys versus the young guys.
Yeah.
It was right at the end of WCW. It was like because all the young guys were beating the old guys, and it was just like unbelievable. Like Kidman was feuding with Hulk Hogan, and it was like, what am I watching? Like, he doesn't belong in the ring with Hogan. But whatever.
Yeah, I know. That was amazing TV, really. I mean,
it really was.
Unfortunately, it ended. You know, because I would have liked to see the payoff.
Here's an interesting one, and I'm really curious, like, how interested people are in Simon Miller, because he's facing Joe Hendry on this special, which I think is kind of crazy. But if they can get a few more views, and then I'm guessing Wolf Culture might be promoting, like, us sponsoring maybe. I don't know about that, but I mean, it would make sense. Sorry, where the fuck's Simon Miller from? Is it Wolf Culture? No. Whatever. Go ahead while I find that out.
I'm seeing Simon Miller appeared on an edition of Joe Hendry's Food Fight talk show on Impact Plus.
Yeah, I think they just.
And then during the segment, there was a miscommunication between the two, which resulted in an actual food fight. And then that set up the match between Hendry and Miller at Turning Point. I don't know anything about Simon Miller. But
I didn't know this. Yeah, how about this? He has 125,000 followers on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
And he has wrestled. I didn't know that. I thought he was just kind of like a comedy wrestler, but it looks like he does indie shows. So.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he's a God damn it! I really can't believe he doesn't have it on his goddamn thing. He's fantastic. But he does like the quick videos, like, hey, here's a top 10 from blah 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 blah. And he talks really fast.
But I mean, look at the card. If you really look at this card, I mean, it kind of makes the most sense out of all of them. At least it has a backstory and a purpose, you know.
Oh, yeah.
and like,
I mean, doesn't it feel like kind of feels like a UK? What's the word? A UK. What were those old shows they had? Oh shit!
Like,
what was the name of the shows they had when they weren't? It was like
I know what you mean.
Not Knockouts, Knockdown, like Joker's Wild, like shit like that.
Yeah, I can't remember which.
Yeah, this feels like a UK kind of one of those shows, because there's like, you don't really need to know anything unless
Team Impact.
How much could they do in? Yeah, like how much could they do in 1 week? Like that's why, like, I don't really feel like. I mean, it is spoilers, but whatever. So Trinity versus Deanna, last chance match for the Impact World Championship with Gail Kim as special guest referee. Now I'm guessing this is Deanna's last chance match. And we've read Deanna is possibly leaving, which would suck. But she's been on all the goddamn pictures and stuff for TNA. So I don't know. Maybe that's a PCO situation, who, if we forgot last week, PCO is back. So our complaining clearly worked. Just kidding. But I wrote like a really nice thing on Facebook, on Instagram to him. And like he didn't write back, but kind of a jerk move there. And but I was like, listen, man, thank you so much for putting your, like, I never would say this to, like, I don't say this to wrestlers. Like, a wrestler moves on and I'm good, you know what I mean? And I was like, dude, you put your body on the line. You deserve better. And, like, it sucks you have to leave, and I'll follow you wherever you go. And then, like, a few days later, he got re-signed, and I was just so fucking happy about that. I know you were.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is a very nice placement of a Gail Kim on the card as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Out, and she doesn't risk injury or anything, like, thinking
is that just to get Gail on a UK show, or is this a Gail screws someone? I think Gail wants to wrestle more, and TNA is back. It would be kind of perfect. That's another thing.
Oh yeah,
then,
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
Well, just if we could get, we did get. I know we didn't get really get a full blown Awesome Kong back in the ring and like a 1-on-1 encounter, but we did get her back in the ring, and like I'm interested to see what direction this new TNA will go with the knockouts.
She actually just made a video. Okay, it is What Culture Wrestling. I was right. He made a video a week ago. Simon Miller's Impact debut. Will Ospreay teases big change. Watch. Simon Miller makes pro wrestling debut. Oh no, sorry, that's Defiant. All right, whatever. Here it is. Simon Miller's Impact Wrestling debut 2 days ago. So this is online right now at What Culture. That's why, again, it feels like not really. I don't know how spoilery this shit is, but so that's interesting, and he's pushing the hell out of it. So cool. And then the main event for this show: Will Ospreay versus Eddie Edwards, which I think is really cool. I love Eddie in the main event at all times. I feel like he can always pop in there.
We want to mention first, though, that we had the most professional wrestling gods.
You might not want to cut me off, you son of a bitch. But yeah, you're right. I totally missed that one. I also thought.
Yeah, I get.
I mean, I think we've talked about this before. I don't like this team. Like, I love the both of these guys, but I don't like this team. And did they face Kazarian and Sabin?
Yeah, that was only due to the fact that Shelley had been injured. I don't know if Shelley got a head injury, if he was concussed.
Probably should have mentioned that our world champion is injured. So that sucks.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe that will come into play down the road, like in the next few weeks. Like he might have to surrender the title. I have no idea.
Yeah,
maybe that's where Moose swoops in and.
One thing I don't like, and I'm not going to give away the outcome, but it's Will Ospreay. I mean, the dude doesn't lose. Like when he goes, like if he comes to Impact, he's like there's certain guys who don't lose. Kenta, you know what I mean? Like who else came over here recently? Like the top New Japan guys. Like I don't think anyone has ever lost. You know what I mean? Or like any top guy from another promotion. That's one thing that I kind of hate. It's kind of like, I'm going to pop in and beat one of your stars. And it's just...
Yeah,
they didn't mention... And now let's talk about Ospreay going to WWE. I'm sure you heard.
No, I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah, so... He's another one of those doing the pop over an Impact and, before heading to WWE, which seems like an odd thing that happens way too much.
Yeah, I just thought, I was hoping it's kind of disappointing because I know they did that video where... between him and Josh, I guess it was at the tapings, and he had mentioned it coming back for a second match against Josh at Hard to Kill. So I don't know how. Maybe he's got it.
Oh, you're right. Wait, is that set?
Yeah, it more or less was set. Yeah, they showed the graphic and I mean, I don't know if they showed the guys on the graphic.
Well, I'm sure he would. I'm guessing he would do that.
Maybe he has to.
Then go to WWE.
Maybe.
So. I don't know if WWE wants him, but I mean, Jesus. I think we literally just became Ospreay fans like a week ago after watching that match.
We'll never see him. Well, I won't see him again.
I've never seen a guy in one match where I totally get it. You know what I mean? Like Kenta, I'll be honest, I still don't get why he's one of the top guys. There's a lot of guys I could mention quickly, but this dude just I watched him in one match and he showed everything. He's a fucking powerhouse that can do anything and it looks so real and Jesus, what it gets him. I wish it was Impact. Well, and maybe it still is, They're obviously spending some money with all this shit finally, and that's another huge goddamn story that they're spending well, maybe they're using money smarter because how much is the trade on Heath Slater to his cousin Leon? Kidding, they're not cousins, but I mean, I'm guessing Heath makes. What do you think Heath makes? 500? Is that 200,000? Maybe I don't even know what the. But let's say.
Yeah, he's going to be
200,000. And then what would this dude be making? 20, 50? They could probably sign 4 wrestlers, and maybe they just did. You know what I mean? Based on Heath's salary, and that's the kind of thing they should be doing. Again, I can go back to months when we talked about Moneyball. And that's what they should be doing, looking for the diamonds in the rough. And I think, and you mentioned it before, that's what this Slater might be. So again, you're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome, fans. We're fixing Impact.
Well, Scott put him out, kind of put him over there. So you look what he did with Speedball. So I can imagine he's pretty awesome.
But that's the thing. Like, Scott has signed a lot of great talent. Let him do that. Let him just be president and do the president shit. I also think losing Jimmy Jacobs kind of quietly hurt a lot, and we didn't really think about it.
Yeah, and we don't really know how influence Delirious currently has in the current flow of things either.
Yeah. I mean, I just think they need, I don't know. I think he just needs to hand over creative. I don't know who runs creative. But I mean, like Les said, is he a guy who should be, I don't know if he said running or whatever creative, but he's obviously part of it. And I just think he needs to step back from that. Very similar to Tony Khan, who I think would have an amazing product if he had a good creative person, which he isn't.
And I totally wouldn't be. I don't find it not feasibly happening. Sting retiring with AEW, so who knows? Maybe we'll see some kind of Sting appearance when TNA.
Oh yeah, well, I got to be honest, man. They've done an amazing job by Sting, like treating him like he deserves, like the opposite of WWE.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I don't even know. Could Impact do better than that? Like, I'm not even sure when it comes to Sting. Like, they've treated Sting like he's one of the best booked wrestlers on the goddamn roster. He could be champion if they wanted it, and it would be believable.
I know his last run, up to the 2000s, up until when he did finally leave Impact. I always thought that was pretty much the best thing, really, because I thought WCW Sting early on was kind of weak. I mean, I didn't really like the
the lame
ultimate
Sting. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really like that.
The happy-go-lucky Sting.
The spiked hair. I didn't really like that Sting.
Yeah. But I mean, goddamn, just like going through his looks through the years. I mean, even then, he was a cool his look was cool. And whatever. He just
definitely.
He's been a cool character forever. But it did get me thinking before. What about Kurt Angle? Could they possibly get Kurt Angle back to be like GM or some shit? Stick him in the Scott role. Maybe even keep Santino, because I'm not sure if they ever work together, and those would be two comedy gods. Gods is a bit much, but seriously, think about Santino and funny Kurt Angle, who is, I believe, one of the funniest characters in the history of wrestling when he wants to be.
Well, my thing is with it, like lately, I don't know if anybody's been sitting back and reflecting on the current state of Impact. You see a lot of ex-WWE talent. You got Kosloff, you got Dango.
Yeah. Why?
We're landing all the in Santino. It's starting to look a lot like the second chance XW.
The misfit toys. Well, that's one thing I don't like. I mean, I don't know why that last dude is there. And again, nothing against him. No, Kozlov. But I mean, even Rhino.
I just say add in Rhino to it.
I mean, you could throw in Rhino. Like, what else? And Rhino's one of those guys to me, like Kane at the end. Like, Bully. What else can he possibly do? Bully is similar, but Bully is still probably selling tickets, and he's still one of the best in the goddamn mic in the universe. So there's always time for a little Bully and him wrestling. And I mean, he put over Jordan? Like, that's cool. That's really cool, and that's kind of big. I mean, it's good for Jordan too. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is, it looked very believable too when she did that almost like a cradle shot kind of move that she does with Bully. She made it look, 300 plus pounds.
We've given Bully shit, but I mean, he's great at putting people over. He's done it his whole fucking career. And I love the whole Bully thing. I love how they're really doing the whole Bully thing now. Like, well, I guess they have the whole time. Like, he's the bully, but he backs down and he looks like a fucking pussy against Jordan Grace, which.
And the big thing with me with Bully is he's not half-assing it like EC3 did when he got ready to leave. Like, it felt like EC3 was like his matches were not very, very trying. It didn't look like he was very happy in Impact. Kind of like the time I had Matt Morgan sign an autograph. He just been wanting up. I was like, my God, I don't know. I don't know why I asked you for an autograph.
I guess sometimes you can get people on the wrong day. I don't know.
Yeah. It just, wow. I just man, I'd be all stoked if somebody asked me for an autograph.
Yeah, well, that's one of those things where I've seen like wrestlers say, I was kind of like a dick to people years ago, and now like I realize, but whatever, maybe it's not at that point. And I think that's about it. Keep it around 35 minutes this week.
Yeah, because
unless you got anything else.
No, I don't really have anything. Just if you're able to get
I forgot
Impact,
to mention my website, alldistractions.com.
Okay.
Check it out.
Go. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure to check that out. What I was gonna say is like Impact Plus. If you don't have it, get it. It's worth even if you don't are kind of unsure about the product, it's worth it alone for the monthly specials. I mean,
they have a lot of shit on there that they suck at promoting anywhere off of Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you don't know half of these fucking shows they have, which makes me crazy.
If you were somebody,
they have like 5 new shows a week, and fans don't know about it.
Yeah, and if you were somebody looking from the yesteryear TNA, you were used to the monthly pay-per-view. This is a way to go for you. They have these monthly. I admit they do throw in that really probably god awful IPWF. If you love that, then
I'm a fan of that. Come on.
Okay, you're a fan. I'm not so much.
How about I start trashing Jason Voorhees now? If you want to get whatever, it's your birthday coming up. Let's end this nicely. Everyone have a nice Halloween. Be safe. Women out there, dress slutty and all that. And dudes, we don't give a shit about your costumes. So that's about it. And don't put any shit in candy. You fucking weirdos who ever do that.
Yeah, make sure to like.
Be good to kids. I don't know what I'm saying.
I was just gonna say, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications.
We are currently one of the most viewed, unliked podcasts in the history of wrestling, and I gotta say it's kind of fun because it's something at least. But whatever.
Yeah.
And really quick, there was a ton of. We got a huge amount of views last week on podcast apps, and I'm not sure about YouTube, but I think you said we did pretty good. So there's a lot of interest in TNA. But again, I think they kind of fucked themselves because then they went right back to an Impact show this week, and then even worse, a best of show. I didn't see those ratings, but I'm a little scared. So I don't know. I'm a little worried about the time. I'm a little worried about the timing. But be magically, and maybe they'll have something magically to happen in January that'll bring the eyes. I don't know.
I just kind of feel like it killed the momentum coming out of such a really good show.
Oh, totally. Yeah, exactly. I even tweeted that from my Psycho account. And I got a retweet, which shows it had to be true because nobody retweets my Psycho account. But yeah,
I don't know if I really. I don't even know if I want to see the ratings for that show.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I was actually interested in that. Because it might go the other way where people who didn't get Bound for Glory want to watch the highlights.
That's fair.
We don't really think whatever, but all right. And that is about it. We will catch you next time with what the hell? I guess a review of Turning Point.
Yeah, we'll see you at Turning Point.
Peace.